Raundi hii wasee na washow, tusipochunga Vision 2030 itakuwa Vision 3020. Violin
Right, the sounds of RUFFTONE and the GSU Choir. And very glad to welcome you to the Spotlight tonight. Very special Spotlight where we have the legend himself, Roy Mwatia, aka RUFFTONE. Karibu sana bana. Good to have you here. Amen.
Yes. Uko poa?
Niko poa tena sana.
Me too. It's
I've been really looking forward to hosting you here like forever.
Me, I told you I'm coming. I don't know why you're telling me I'm coming. And I love this show. And I can tell you the new premises it looks amazing.
Thank you.
I love everything. It's so
welcome
digital.
to Spotlight.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me start. I have many questions to ask you, but let me start with that song.
Yes.
How did that song come about? What was the thought? How did you even start writing it?
You know, it's very funny, yeah? By that time, I was still staying in Buruburu. That's when I had my studio, Lamson Records in Buruburu. And I remember at that time, I was really low. Musically, I'd gone down. And then, you know, I was like, what do I do? There was this new generation of, should I call business practitioners. We had a new crop of DJs. We had a new crop of audience. We had a new crop of artists who had just been introduced into the industry. And there was a bad wind that was there saying the old artists should retire. You know, it's everywhere, even in politics, even in media. Guys are like, but now they've been there for long. So there was that wave that was all over. And I'm telling you the truth. I will take my songs to the TV and radio stations, and you find the people receiving those songs as young as your daughters and your sons. And they've never heard of you. And they don't know what you're talking about. So their bosses are the ones who are saying, you don't know this guy, but this guy is a legend, bana. But them, honestly speaking, they don't feel whatever you're saying because times had changed. I would say the system, everything about the music platform had actually been reinvented. And I went back to God, I told him, what's happening? Because is my time over? Should I retire? Like, you know, the Dax voices are telling me, you're too old, you should retire, you should leave it for the younger guys. And then I was really low, and I think the worst bit came into, I tried contacting some trendy groups. There was a group of a trendy, it was a trendy gospel group. I asked them, can we do a collab? Then they told me, we'll get back to you. And then when I'm serious. And then there was also some two established gospel artists. I told them I have a new idea. It's a song. Can we do a collab with you? And then they told me, send us a demo we hear. And then another one told me, I don't do collabos. So I was like, God, what is happening? Until now, the young group, I'm asking them for a chance. They're telling me no. And the other two established ones are telling me it's like an audition. They're telling me, Ebu, send it over. I hear it. If it's nice, I'll jump on it. If it's not as per the par, itabidu mejipanga RUFFTONE.
Wow.
So, but me, I like that. I like that because the only time Samson changed and became himself again is the time when he was in between the two stones. That's when he consulted a young boy and he told him, can you help me? You know?
Just put my hand here and here.
And here. And that's the time he remembered God and he said, just like before, please grow back my hair. And he said, he told God, one last time, please
do it again.
Do it again. You understand? So, and it's there, it's repetitive in the Bible. There are so many people, even you see the prodigal son.
Yes.
When he got to a point where he had to eat with the swines, that's when he came back to his senses. So for me, when I got a trendy gospel group telling me no, there were two established artists and they told me, one told me I don't do a collab, the other one told me, bring that song, I audition it first. That's when I the Spirit of the Lord convicted me. When you did Mwikulu, who did you do it with? Am I not enough that you need a rubber stamp from any other person, another human being? Am I not enough? Is my spirit not enough? So I remember I told even my producer, by that time Teddy B was working for me. And I even told my wife, God gave me Mwikulu, God gave me Tsinyanga Tiwere, God gave me MOG, God gave me so many songs, nimetambua with the late Bishop Ben Bahati.
Yeah.
Is he dead now? So the same God will give me another song. And I said, you know what, this song I'm not going to do it with anybody. I'll let God lead it and lead it as it were. And my wife was like, are you for real? I said, yeah. And I thank God because she supported me. She never doubted the move that I'd taken.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend of mine, she's called Eunice, she works at Citizen Media. She told me there's a new tender from the GSU. They're looking for a production house that will produce their album. And there were many studios that were bidding. So I said, even me, I'm going to bid. And then I knew one thing, and we discussed with her also, and we agreed the only way to win over a tender is you quote the list. So I went and I quoted the list of all the bidders. And automatically, I started seeing GSU vehicles coming to Lamston, and everyone was like, this guy a terrorist, because they don't just visit any home. And then they were coming with their boots, with their berets, with their guns, with their very funny vehicles, you know. And they were looking at my studio and they were like, are you sure you can hack this? For me, what God has given me, bro, Conness, is confidence. So if you can't do it, say you can. And if you can do it, repeat you can. So I told them, yes, we can do this. And after they came in for Reke to check out the studio if it can be in a position to do that, they okayed that I go meet the young recruits who'd been recruited at the Embakasi base for the GSU. So when I met the young people, they were so excited to see me. And you know, I remember what I told them. I told them, listen up, these songs we're going to do can make or break our lives. I told them the first time I ever took a flight was from Nairobi to Kisumu, and it was in a gospel gig after I gave my life to Christ. Right. The first time I went to South Africa was during the Cora Awards. The first time I went to the United States was during the American Gospel Music Awards, where I'd been nominated under the international category. It was in a Hyatt Hotel in Florida. It was just because I took my talent and I gave it to God. So I told them, you know, let us be excited about RUFFTONE and the celebrityhood. Guess what? This song can make or break our lives.
So let's give it our best.
So let's give it our best. And the good thing, I must congratulate that team. They allowed me to record their album. It was consisting of 11 singles. And then I told them, like, guys, I've done your full album. Can we do something? They were like, yeah, let's do a collabo. And then I was like, no one has ever done a song with the GSU. Every time people hear of the GSU, it's like doing a song with Kenya Army. Yeah. And for me, I like being unique. I always tell people the body of Christ is not boring. And I believe there are some formulas God can impart into your mind and creativity that the world has never seen. True. So I was like, in the history of the Republic of Kenya, no one has ever done a song with the GSU. In fact, even their superintendent was telling me, the whole hierarchy, they were saying, we don't do things with civilians. Have you ever seen us collaborating with civilians? I told them, I'm not a civilian. And if I am, I'll be the first one to do a collab with you. So I must congratulate Bwana Nyongesa. He encouraged me, but he told me, Bana, getting the superintendent is very difficult. Guess what?
Because you have to go through the hierarchy.
The hierarchy is tedious. Yeah. The protocol is very tedious. And those people, I'm telling you, they follow it to the latter. So I was told that the superintendent was somewhere, is it at Babadogo? The roundabout? Yeah. So when you go there, there are like 2 roadblocks. So I said, kwa nini? I'll go, I'll tell him I want to do a collab with these boys. So when I told the Embakasi unit that I'm going to see the superintendent, everyone was like, is this guy crazy? It's like saying now you want to go see Matiang'i.
Unapita mbele sana.
Exactly. Kwani wewe nani? By that time I had an old car, nikakanyaga mafuta mpaka nikaenda that roundabout hapo Babadogo, karibu De La Rue, and I went in. And when I was being asked, who do you want to see? I said, I want to see the superintendent. Until I went to the number 2 before the superintendent. And then when the superintendent had that reference looking for him, he was like, hey, this boy, what does he want? At Yakolabo. Okay, let him have it. And I thank God because after that, exactly. So a step of faith, and things started happening. And that's when I remember there's a song that I'd given to gospel artists my fellow. I'm not doing it out of, I respect them, but you know, at times, even Joseph, he was denied by his own brothers. Even Christ, it was the body, it was, I would call it the church, rejected him, the synagogue and the Pharisees. So I was like, now that I've given it to my people and they do want to do it, let me give it to the people who are very optimistic. And they were like, when was the chorus? I was like, I remember it was, the first thing I got was ti 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 ti, the melody. And then that's how I thought, oh, we are nearing the elections. And I remember the 2007, if I'm not wrong, it was really, really bloody.
That's crazy.
And I was like, God, just knowing this song, let it be that it shall, you know, sensitize the people of the vices of tribal elections. And that's when I had Mungu Baba tuaomba, uilinde nchi yetu, and the rest was history. So when I took it to the boys, they were so excited. They were like, Mungu Baba tuaomba. And that's how it came about.
Did you envision that it would become that big?
No, you never know. These things, Bana, when you're
At what point did you feel wow about it, you know?
There's some, as I told you, for me, when I do things as per the formula of the world, many a times they don't work. But there's a time when you under that anointing, there's a gear you get into and you don't care much about what people think or about what people say, and then you just get to be in a flow that is, the momentum is so steady and so strong that nothing can stop it. So when I get to that, even my wife was like, hey, do you know that I got so many resistance? There's a group of the GSU who didn't want to do this song. There's a group of young GSU guys who wanted to do it. So my wife was like, man, how are you bullying yourself, Bana, through, you know, GSUs? Me, I was like, I mean, they're humans. They've been created by God, and I'm a child of God. And me, I feel I need to do this thing. So I'm telling you, we started with a big group of the GSU team, but some they were not willing to do. There was some contentious issues over there. But for me, when I'm focused, Bana connects me, I push. And I just did it. You'll be very surprised. There's even a clip when they are Maombi, Amani, we were in Hell's Gate. Underneath there, we didn't have any music. That was a cappella. It was that tedious because it was, you know, we were shooting that thing for an entire month. Their album plus now my
And then
video.
you got guys, violins and...
Exactly. So, no, I'll come to that. So when we did that thing at Hell's Gate and we got to go back to the editing suite, we realized the song was good, but for me, I always tell people, and I even tell my wife, me, I like going, as I've told you, above average. And I believe I'm a representative of God, so I need to do things that have never been done on this world. So what I did was, after playing back that song, I was like, it's a little bit flat. It's just RUFFTONE and the GSU. What can we, you know, to start to go to the next level. Then another concept came on to me. I remember the Moitet, they call them the
Moitet,
the triplets.
Moipei sisters.
Moipei sisters. The Moipei sisters, I remember when I used to go to the National Theatre, I would see them having, it's called an orchestra club or something, somewhere at the National Theatre. And you know, me, I come from Eastland, Sumoja, that's where I was born, raised in Kakamega. So when you look at an orchestra, it's like for the uptown people. It's like for Mababi, you get. So I was like, what if I took this very wealthy kind of musical class of people, and again, I take them to shoot in Korogocho. You know, that blend. What will happen? So I told them, I have a new song, and I must thank their leader is called Levi. Levi, wherever you are, God bless you so much, because he opened the doors. I'm telling you, Levi mnakwanga hivyo. So he just told me, come here. Again, I met the Nairobi Youth Orchestra, that orchestra that I found at the National Theatre. I told them my vision, and again, as usual, there's some who dropped out, and some who, you know, stayed. But again, I told my wife was like, those are Wazungus and the Chinese people. Why are you pushing? Me, I was like, they're humans, been created by God, and I'm doing this for God, so what? So I must thank them because there's some who stayed all through. And then I told them, guess what? We're going to shoot this thing in Korogocho. I didn't have money. I had to hire matatu. Unajua hizi matatu za mlango zinakata kufunga. I took those Wahindi, wa Chinese, Wazungu into those matatus, and I took them to Korogocho. When they got there, they found tires burning. Kumbe it was a setup. That's what I wanted to show. So
they thought, Allah,
hey, what's happening? But guess what? I must thank the Korogocho people because they told me, kwanzia mama mboga mpaka wasa boda boda and the vijanas, they were like, No one will touch your cameras. Will protect you, RUFFTONE. Hakuna mtu ataleta hapa mauo. Unasikia muda. Uko base basi, uko base. So no, actually they were surrounded by the Korogocho guys, and they said no one will steal anything from this orchestra. And then when I took that clip onto the editing suite, the image was just wow, out of this world. Now, can you imagine now mixing an orchestra in Korogocho with the GSU?
So that's when you knew this thing is something.
Then I knew, I can't say I knew it was something. I loved it, and I knew it was a masterpiece. And then after that, my editor, it's called Arnold Korir, also now said, why don't we throw in those images of beautiful Kenya, the ocean, the mountains, the forests, and we comparated that. At the end of the day, God took over that song.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 years you've been in the industry now.
Yeah, we bless God.
What do you consider your highest moment?
Do I have highest moments, really? At my age, you can't really have one particular incident that you can actually say that is what...
You have moments of highs where you...
Exactly. They come in, and in fact, I normally don't concentrate on the highest moments, because the issue is how do you maintain those highest moments? That is where my concentration is. How do you sustain and maintain and retain those highest moments? That's where I focus on to.
What about the lows then?
Of course, I've told you, I've just given you one.
Yeah.
Whereby
people are hard to work with.
Just because you've been in the industry for like, I was there for almost 16 years, and still people are telling you no. So it means no one is indispensable, and humans are just humans. And apart from that, of course, you know, we lost our dad.
Yes, yes.
And that was really painful, because we didn't see it coming. And apart from that, I am really having it rough and tough when I see crusades are dying in this country. To me, even before the interview, we were talking about the issues of corruption in this country. Psalms 23 says, if the foundations are destroyed, what can a righteous man do? It means our foundations and the young men's foundations have been destroyed. No one is cementing that foundation. That's why you're seeing all this terrorism, corruption, selfishness, self-centeredness. It's because of that. So crusades in this country used to be a platform where young people will be taught which direction to go, and to accept Christ, and to embrace the virtues of the Bible. And Kenya, I remember when we were young, I'm telling you the truth, we will be playing with you. Ikifika lunchtime, mother anakuja na tuserve wote.
True.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how many kids were there. I remember... Yes. There's a time when there was anything like sickness, people will come visit you, stay with you, some will even sleep over next to you.
So that personal touch of people has disappeared.
So I'm just wondering, where is Kenya going to? Yeah, where is Kenya going to?
But as a gospel musician and a producer yourself,
yes,
and you have your Lumsden Records, when you look at music, there's gospel music, and people, the spotlight is on gospel a lot now.
Yes.
Some people say, you know, if you mute some of the songs, and you look at them, you will not see a difference between them and secular songs. Do you feel like gospel has reached a point where it is compromising itself so much to fit into secular, or are we just old age looking at new age things and not understanding?
No, I told you there's a time when I tried releasing songs, and I told you I found new breed of DJs, new breed of artists. And for me, I would say that is what is happening to the gospel. God is... Are
we bending backwards too much?
Again, I won't look into the details. What I know is there's a revival coming. By that I mean, there's a new wave, there's a new breath God is bringing into the industry. And you know what? He has to separate the real ones and the fake ones. So he's giving people... Exactly. So he's giving people onto their appetites. So if your appetite is money, it will be sin. If your appetite is maybe, you know, all the vices, they will just sort you out. So for me, I will not focus on to should I call it the grilling. I will focus on where are we going after this. So there's a new revival that is coming, and God is setting up his remnants, and he wants them to be used into this last phase. You know.
Big things have happened to you. You're a family man now, you have kids.
Yes.
you were seen with the president.
Yes.
Having a really good time. How did that happen? Tell us about that.
Again, I told you, many times when God tells me, go this way, and that's what he's telling me nowadays. He's telling me, you just follow me. It doesn't matter the path you're taking. Like that song, the RUFFTONE that hour, I wanted to do it with many gospel artists. But now it got to a point, it didn't work. God brought in the GSU. I didn't know that is where he wanted me to, through that, that's how I got connected to the president. Because coincidentally, I told you this song, I did it before the elections. I wanted it to sensitize people on the importance of a peaceful election.
Yeah.
Funny enough, after the elections, His Excellency won. And guess what? The next thing that followed was the inauguration. So there's this day when the government spokesman, Honorable Manoe Sipisu, was on radio, and he was asked, what is who's the president's favorite artist? And he said, RUFFTONE. So when that happened, there's a person who introduced me to Manoa, and then after that there was the inauguration. So during the inauguration, God bless Bruce Odhiambo, the late Bruce Odhiambo.
Yes.
He was the one in charge of the artists. So the word came out that the First Lady loved that song so much that they wanted me to sing that song. It was that one and Akisema Atakubariki, those two songs. And then I was called in for the rehearsals. And that is how I ended up meeting the president. So when I did that song, he really liked it so much. And then immediately after that, there was Kenya at 50.
Yeah.
You remember, now we are celebrating our 50th anniversary. So again, I will tell you, there were challenges left, right, center, because now the guys organizing that program, people think it's easy. But I was told the program is full. RUFFTONE, you don't have a chance to perform. Again, by God's grace, the president's house said, we don't care, let him, even if it's a problem, you look for anywhere where you'll put him, let him sing, akue hapo. That is how you saw I ended up performing with the army instead with other artists, because the artist's schedule was so tight. But now, because the president, God bless him, Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, Honorable, Her Excellency, they said, we don't want to know, let it be sung.
Yeah, and
so
you went to State House with your wife.
Of course, but before I go there, I want to tell you,
Yeah.
This will encourage someone. At times, things happen like it's a negative. Like for me, when I was told there's no chance, I was heartbroken. But you never know. Maybe God is creating another opening, but you can't see with your own eyes.
True that
So
one,
always
yeah.
rely on to God. Because when the other artists performed, they were given, I think, 15 minutes. But as an artist alone, I performed with the Kenya Army, Kenya Air Force, Kenya Navy, and the GSU, and Kenya Police, and 42 people from the 42 schools in this country. And I was given 10 minutes, and Kenyans said he must repeat. Again, I came back after the event and I did another.
Wow.
And we had over 11 heads of state. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's what God can do.
So the platform is big, like your talent really has
but
put you
when
before
you go with
kings.
your naked eyes, you
Yeah.
want to perform on this other category. So God does many things. You're asking me about my wife and State House.
Yes.
Yes.
How is that? Like? You know, we see, those are things people dream of.
No. God is able. That day, I remember the president was throwing a bash to the State House employees. Again, by God's grace, I was called in to minister. So when I did that, I sang. And, the president is a very kind person. When we were getting married, he actually helped us. He paid for the wedding. So, and I'd not seen him after we got married. So by the time we were being invited onto State House, that's when we had our first kid. So I just said, Bwana President, where will you support familia na ujui nakaje? Now he is my family. So he was so excited, and the wife, and they came over. And funny enough, our daughter refused kuacha mkono ya president. Now I was supposed to
you're saying
yeah, nikamwambia president huyo mtoi ni wangu, huyo sio wako. So those are things that only God can do. Yeah, but he's a very nice guy. I've been there since the two other presidents, but honestly, Muigai, His Excellency, is just one of his. He's one in a million.
What do you tell now? Because of your time in the industry.
Yes.
And my director is telling me time is going. Why imagine time is
Hata
going?
tujaongea. Director ni nini? Tujaongea hata.
Imagine that the time is going.
Okay.
Huh?
Yes.
Now, when you speak to young people who want to get into music, and
Yes,
you know,
yes.
nowadays the pressure to get into music and operate at peak level is so it's so high.
Yes.
You know, you guys tried for so long before even acceptance of the type of music,
Yeah.
different Christian music that you're bringing, and then going all the way up.
Yeah.
And now the young person is under pressure.
Yes.
They want to be rich today.
Yes.
They want to be famous
Yes.
today.
Yes.
They want to sing a song, and that song has to have 100,000 hits.
Yes.
Now, what do you tell them, especially to budding gospel musicians?
And I'll tell them you can work smart or work hard. And before you were born, there are people who thought like you. Probably they didn't have Instagram, they didn't have WhatsApp, but they had postal addresses. They had phone booth when you were talking about a handset.
Yeah.
But one thing I've seen since I was young and now I'm in my midlife, I've never seen anyone going wrong with the voice of God. You got to be under the feet of Jesus. At times it seems uncomfortable. At times it seems like you are in your own delusioned world. But at the end of the day, you stand up victorious. And the rest of the people who seemed to be knowing everything, they end up losing. I'll just give them an example. There was a prophet in the Bible. He's called Elijah.
Yes.
People used to call him crazy. He was a very weird guy, in quotes. If he was to live today, he would be called weird. But as he was a prophet, we also had other fake prophets of Baal.
Yeah.
And they were the trendy prophets. They were like over 300.
They were the
and more.
socialites.
They were the socialites. They had the likes. They had the Instagrams. But the same story I can talk about Moses and the wizards in Egypt. The wizards were the trendy people. Moses, again, he was the, in quotes, weird person, so to speak. But you see what they used to do. If you are to look at their tendencies, they would go away in the wilderness, hide, seek the face of God, and come with verdicts.
Yes.
And
a message from
implementation.
God. Yes.
And implementation. Moses comes and he says, well, you release, let my people go. If not so, anabiweka mkono juu, locust zinakuja everywhere. Until Pharaoh noted there is a man of God called Moses. The same to Elijah. Elijah said, not under the voice of God. He said, under my word, there'll be no rain in this nation for 3 years. He didn't say God has said. Yani, that's the kind of authority God can give you. So the people who thought he was a weird guy, they witnessed for 3 years there's no rain. And you know why? Because the other group of the prophets, they used to worship a god of rain called Baal. So you see how God was trying to show his might. So you have a God who provides rain. Not me, let my person just say there'll be no rain. And there'll be no rain. Baal tried, he could not. Then he now said, let's have a contest. The one who brings fire from heaven is the true.
Is the true one.
You understand?
Yeah.
And he actually told these guys, I'm a gentleman, you go first. From morning till Juma
They even
saa
cut
saba,
themselves,
they cut themselves. But yeah. Asking them, Kwani your God has gone on a trip? Kwani he's sleeping? Kwani what's happening? Wake him up. And then he said, before I bring fire from heaven, put water onto this altar. You guys do it, not me. And I think, I don't remember the number of times, but they kept on putting water. And then when he just asked God to come, they say the fire almost consumed mpaka the mawes. You understand? So when you hear God, you'll do marvelous things. And the people whom you see to be trendy and on top of things, they'll wonder about your God and you.
Right.
But if you want to go their direction, you will wonder about the men of God. So you choose one.
Yeah, choose one.
Yes.
Time's up. RUFFTONE, imagine.
How I wish.
Imagine we need to sit down. We need to sit down better and talk a bit more. Imagine. I even feel like telling this guy, time's up, really. But
Yeah, I'm getting started, man.
I know.
Yes.
I had so many questions to ask you. I was going to ask you about. Anyway, I'll have to look for you again. Itabidi nikutafute tena.
Ni sawa.
Because hata kuna wimbo zingine tujaongelea.
Najua.
You know. Let me, in closing, conclusion.
Yes.
Let me just ask.
Yes.
What keeps you? What's your next thing? What's keeping the fire in your belly going? What are you thinking about yourself now? After all these years,
You know,
what are you looking at now?
My formula has never changed. Since I was young, we were not born in a very wealthy family. We had people we looked up to. We had, when I used to go to Kakamega Primary School, I used to come from a village to Kakamega Primary School. When I was young in class 4-5, walikuwa wanaita kijana ya kijiji. When I was in Kakamega High School, we were schooling with people from Nairobi. Again, I was called a Kacherian. So the thing that kept me going is just my belief in God. And I thank God for my wife because she insists that we keep on doing that thing. So me, I keep on believing in God regardless of the changes that are happening around me. God is the only constant thing. And that's who I believe into. Christ Jesus.
Right.
Yes.
New music, anything coming up?
Definitely. Many songs. There's one we did with Havoc. It's called Show Them. You can Google it right now. And there are many, many. My wife is coming out with a new song. She's coming back into the music industry.
That's good.
And this year, people are going to see many things by the grace of God. Yeah,
They
man.
say big things are going.
Big things are coming your way, you know.
Thank you, RUFFTONE. Really appreciate having you.
Yes.
I wish you could continue.
Yes.
But thank you so much for coming through. We'll talk more.
Yes.
And we'll be following up what you're doing, especially in Kakamega.
Anytime.
To the big thing on the 31st.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for
RUFFTONE,
having me.
man.
Thank you for having me.
What can we say?
Yes.
That's RUFFTONE. Our time is fast spent. I wish we had more time with him. We'll be able to talk to him some more in the coming months of this year, God willing. Thank you for watching the Spotlight tonight. God bless you. Good night. Take care of yourselves and each other. And see you next Monday. Next man.